Now we know it happened on Reddit, but who's really behind it? We hear the theories that it's a bunch of kids who are bored. There's no sports betting happening, and they took to this. But how do you see it?
You can start with Bitcoin. One of the reasons that people care so much about Bitcoin, or one of the reasons that it's so in the forefront, is because it's about decentralized finance. I'm not saying Bitcoin itself is DeFi, but DeFi is about removing intermediaries, removing brokers and bankers, and about things in the middle. So you're removing these centralized powers that control the flow. And that's one of the attractive things in Bitcoin. And generationally, younger kids are, by younger, I mean, anywhere between 15 and 45. They're looking at the world in general as, in my opinion, unfair, and call it activist investing. So the Bitcoin kids are doing the same thing, and they're right. The reason this segues into GameStop and the other stocks that are doing that is,
this has rattled Wall Street, right? There are theories that there are professional players also involved in this, that it's not just a bunch of kids that are bored. How do you see that, or what are you?
I would not be surprised. Except the kids doing it are capitalists. They're not socialists. So they're proving it with their money. They're taking risk.
Isn't this a form of market manipulation?
I think the people that are the incumbents that have the most to lose will say yes. I think it's actually much less manipulative than what we've been led to believe is a real market. And by that, I mean, when you've got 1 million people in chat rooms saying, I'm going to do this, I want to do this, and then doing it with their money, $500, $1,000, that's infinitely more transparent than 3 hedge fund managers having a conversation in a room with a former Fed chairman saying, well, you take over this position and we'll do it really quietly so there's not a lot of volatility. It's actually less manipulative, in my opinion. Doesn't mean manipulators are not jumping on this bandwagon. Don't get me wrong.
It fascinates me how this snowballed. I mean, I would love to know how many people were involved in the original chat and how many there are today. Don't you find that interesting, Vince, how big this has become?
I don't. In my Twitter account, I follow the Reddit WallStreetBets guys, and there have been a bunch for a long time. And it's kind of like the 90s chat rooms, only it's real time and they're doing work. And to answer your question, I don't know how big it was, but I think they've added a couple million users in the last 2 weeks.
Why GameStop? Is it generational? Like, why did they choose GameStop?
To answer your question, GameStop had a start. When this started, GameStop had a float of about 150% of their stock in short. Bed Bath & Beyond, you talked to, we were off the air. Doesn't seem like something that millennials or Generation Z or Zoomers, whatever you're calling them now, would be into. But I think there are some people that know what they're doing this. Why GameStop? I guess my soundbite would have to be, these are video game kids that grew up playing video games. Why not start with GameStop?
Absolutely crazy. So I guess, how do you see this playing out? How does it stop? Do the regulators, I mean, we're seeing it, they're halting trading, but what happens next?
Well, I mean, I know how this ends, and I know where it is. It ends with one of 2 ways. He's giving you a digital example. One is the government, the regulators, the people with the most to lose will, under the pretense, not necessarily false pretense, under the guise of protecting the public, protecting 401ks, will protecting investors, will intercede and throttle the access of speculative money. And then you'll have a return to order.